Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and you are welcome to the 2025 edition of the Business Summit of the Youth Impact Movement. And on behalf of the leadership of the movement, I welcome all of you once again to this very packed session where we shall be having an insightful discussion, strategies in a world of uncertainty. So settle in. The leadership of this movement has unpicked very strategic people with inspiring stories to share with us and the strategies that they use to win, the challenges that they face. So settle yourself down and let's have a fruitful conversation. To take us further, let's welcome our clerk, assistant clerk to the parliament to give us the opening prayer. Thank you.
Shall we pray? Lord Jesus, we thank you for how far you've brought us. We thank you for counting us among the living once more. We thank you for bringing us together for this important summit. We are grateful for every person here, for the minds, the hearts, and the dreams represented in this room. As we begin, we ask for your presence to guide us. Give us clear thoughts, bold ideas, and the courage to think beyond ourselves. We, we bless the speaker, the organizer, and everyone present in this room. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please, let's do it up for her once again. Give it up for her, a hand of applause. Thank you for inviting the Holy Spirit into our midst. And we apologize for being religious bias. This is where we find ourselves, so we have to say the Christian prayer. And once again, you are all welcome to the HTU SRC JCR, where we are having this live conversation in business management, organized by the Youth Impact Movement. And on behalf again of the leadership, thank you for making time to be here. We promise that it's going to be a fruitful one. And young people as we are faced with so much challenges, and it is wisdom to learn from those that has gone ahead of us. And the leadership of the Youth Impact Movement thought it wise that it is good to bring some of these impactful personalities to come and be a blessing to us this afternoon. Please, if you are happy, please give it up for the leadership of the Youth Impact Movement. Do it better for them, championing the cause of youth development in the Volta region and beyond. They deserve more applause from you. Please give it up for them once again. Thank you so much. We will now welcome the representative of the Youth Impact Movement to give us the welcome address. Let's, with a hand of applause, welcome Mr. Viglo, and coincidentally, there is another Mr. Viglo in our midst, Amegashie, to give us their welcome address. Please, with a hand of applause, let's welcome you.
Thank you very much, the MC. Today, I'm not the only Mr. Viglo here. I'm actually the junior most of all the Mr. Viglos here. With all due respect, please permit me to acknowledge the senior Mr. Viglo over here, who is in the person of my own father, in whom I adore and is my mentor, Mr. Simon Amegashie-Viglo. Welcome, sir. And also with him is my own geography teacher, who I also adore. Communication is the least of his problems, just as it is for my dad. And he is one person that I'm equally anticipating to learn a lot today, and he's in the person of Mr. Degue. Welcome, sir. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, today is our first ever physical seminar, and it's been sponsored not only done by Youth Impact Movement but in collaboration with Groove Hub and Lux VMB Realty. And this is a very important exercise we are doing. We are not joking here. We are not coming here because we don't have anything to do. It is because of our interest in learning a bit about business. If you want to fully rely on your salary to survive, then I wish you well because you are not interested in being an entrepreneur. I myself, I'm a salary worker, but my salary is not enough. It is the little businesses that I'm doing that is keeping me up. And today, we don't want you to just be youth parliamentarians, but add a taste of business into your life. And that is why we have organized this program here today. We have in our midst Integrity Star Consult and a business development strategist. And they are going to give us an insight on today's program. So please, without much ado, I just want to call on all of you to just listen carefully, make your notes, and learn something before the day ends. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jones Viglo. I don't know how your father is feeling right now, seeing his son do exploit and with such confidence speaking to a gathering like this. Sir, thank you for giving birth to this wonderful man. He has been a leader and an inspiration to some of us. Please, let's give it up for our president once again, Mr. Jones Amegashie-Viglo. Yes, he has said a lot already. I can see the mindset of people in anticipation of what is coming from the senior most, as you put it, Mr. Viglo, in this discussion that we are going to have. Now, to take us further, I think he has done the purpose of the gathering also already. So we will jump quickly to introduce our first speaker for the day. We are supposed to have a remark from our patron, but he is on his way coming in as much as we will not like to waste much time. Anytime that he dash in, we'll give him the opportunity to give the remark as a patron of this movement. So let me welcome the first person to introduce our first speaker for this afternoon program. Permit me also to acknowledge the presence of some people here and give respect to who respect is due. With a hand of applause, let's clap for the NASFA president in this municipality, Mr. Kekeli, this young man leading the charge of all national service personnel in the whole municipality. Let's also acknowledge the presence of the Majority Speaker of the Parliament of the Youth Impact Movement, Mr. Your name is a job-breaking word. Hubert Agbaxode. Let's give it up for him. And as well, let's also do same for the minority leader, Mr. Wonder Nicodemus. Please, let's give it up for him also. My very good friend, my very good friend, the Deputy Speaker of the Parliament, he celebrated his birthday the last time. We didn't do him anything. Please, let's give it up for the Deputy Speaker of Parliament of the Youth Impact Movement. Thank you all for coming. And everybody that I don't know your name yet, I will introduce you when I get your full name. And we also have one lady that has been supportive of this great movement. She is always available. Madam, when the speaker entered, one of the speakers entered here, he said, oh, you are a big woman, Deputy Regional Minister. Madam, please let's give it up for. Thank you so much for supporting the movement all the time. God bless you. So let me welcome.
Is he here?
Our majority leader for the Youth Impact Parliament, Hubert, to introduce the first speaker for this discussion. Thank you so much. Let's give it up for him.
Thank you very much, Senator Edward. How can you forget my name just like that? If you are to be in the Lions Club, I will say you have to be tail twisted. Yes. Okay. So I am Hubert Agbaxode. With your permission, I would like to introduce our first speaker for today. Joel Degue is a Ghanaian journalist, columnist, educationist, a cultural advocate, widely known for his contribution on platforms such as Modern Ghana, News Ghana, and Ghana Web. His writings focus on developmental journalism, particularly highlighting issues such as coastal erosion, tourism development, cultural preservation, and community resilience, especially in the Volta region of Ghana. He has written extensively on the importance of promoting traditional festivals like Ogbechuchu and Agbogboza as vehicles for tourism and then socio-economic development. Beyond journalism, Deg is also recognized as a motivational speaker, certified tour guide, and French language advocate. Having called one of the Ghana's education service to prioritize French instructions in schools to promote regional integration. He is associated with the Center for Natural Resources and Environmental Management, CNREM, where he contributes to strategic planning and sustainable development initiatives across southern Ghana. Through his diverse roles, Joel Degue continues to influence public discourse on heritage, sustainability, and educational reform. With a round of applause, let's humbly welcome our first speaker for today's summit, Mr. Joel Degue. I thank you all.
Mr. Viglo Senior or Senior Most, Viglo Junior, I think.
This one is movable if you're not comfortable with it.
Okay, that's right. The Speaker of Youth Impact Parliament, other senators and invited people, good afternoon. I think it's my pleasure being here. I don't know whether it's going to be Senior Viglo, because if you have Senior Most, you have the Senior and you have the Junior Most. Joshua, through the invitation over a month ago, that I should be here and share some few thoughts with the Youth Impact Parliament. So I gladly accepted the invitation and cleared the calendar to be here this afternoon. So it's my pleasure being here and share few thoughts with you together. And I want to thank the one who introduced me for going beyond what I know about myself and others. What I know about myself is I was a geography teacher, a social study teacher, and a French teacher in Kitasco for 10 beautiful years, after which I left for private enterprise in Benin Republic, where I've been for the past 80 years. So I think I'm just going to be free and have a frank discussion with you tonight. so that our coming here will be beneficial to all of us. Yeah, I don't want to be so diplomatic in anything. It's just going to be in a conversational manner. Yeah, so as you have the topic already there, forging your destiny in the midst of uncertainty, very well captured. I love the forging. I think it's coming from a Latin word which means to mold, to shape, and probably to bring to form what your future would be in the midst of this crisis we are all going through these days, these years, these decades. So basically, I want to talk to you about two important strategy topics that have been in the literature for some time now. And they are two small acronyms called VUCA, VUCA, and BANI, BANI. So these are the two acronyms I'm going to play around and lead a conversation this afternoon. VUCA, VUCA, and BANI, BANI, acronym that stands for some words that we're going to explain later. So I titled my discussion VUCA and BANI, what the youth must know in a rapidly changing world. What the youth must know in a rapidly changing world. So that's how I want to start the discussion with you. I don't want to go back into distant history, but just be as in the recent few years. So the year 2020 marked a significant point in the history of the world with the advent of the COVID-19, which has shaken the whole world and shifted everything out of gear. And we are all aware of that. It's just about 5 years ago. So I think it's still fresh in our mind. And that year, everything was going on as planned. Businesses, nations, organizations had beautiful plans. But the advent of COVID-19, actually which began somewhere around November, December in China and Wuhan in China, and the first case being seen in Ghana around 12 March 2020, and bringing the whole world to a standstill by the middle of the year 2020. Every plan, every organization, every institution has to re-look at what they plan for the year, because a certain unforeseen circumstance happened, a certain uncertainty happened. So the world became totally at a standstill. So what is VUCA and what is BANI? Let's take VUCA first and look at it. VUCA is an acronym that became popular around the post-Cold War. Some of us are young to those terminologies. This is the war between USSR and USA. So it's a war that was silently waged. It was an ideological war. Not Russia as we know it today. It was the United Socialist and Soviet Union then, Republic then, and the United States. So there were wars about ideology. So they fought it and in a quiet manner. So it was called the Cold War. I think you can read about it. Mr. Viglo Senior Most is here. I think he knows much about that. So after that war, the term VUCA became popular. And what does VUCA stand for? It's an acronym made of 4 letters. VUCA. The V stood for or stands for volatility. the world became volatile just after the Cold War. The world became uncertain. So there were a lot of uncertainty in the whole system of the world system, market system, business system. Everything became uncertain. And the other one became complex. Complexity here and there in almost every human endeavor. Complex situations started happening because of the Cold War. And the last thing is ambiguity. The world became ambiguous, unpredictable, and unclear whether the future, what the future will look like. So tonight I want to share a few things and how we as young men and women today can glean some pieces of lesson from these global management and leadership theories. And these things have found their ways now in management, in business, in social organization, and in enterprise. Yeah, so I'll take them one after the other and share a few perspectives around them. So, volatility. Just after the Cold War, unstable situations started occurring in the world of business because the world became a little bit unstable. The war wasn't waged militarily, but in ideologies. And from that time, you see that the post-Cold War became a war about trade and business. So what happened is that these unstable situations led to what we call volatility, price, inflations, and others. Those environment changed. Industrial players, like the big players in industries, started having which market to dominate and which not to dominate. So there is this market dominance that became the order of the day between the United States and USSR. It became prominent after the collapse of the Berlin Wall around the 90s, and when USSR started balkanizing, they became republic on their own rather than being USSR as a unit. So the world was not stable thereafter, and things were never same after the post-Cold War. The next thing I want us to look at is the uncertainty, the U in the VUCA world. Now, the world became unpredictable. You know, instead of thinking about cause and effects, this is how we used to do it, and predict outcomes. Things were never same again after the post-war. So this uncertainty was seen in almost everything that the world was going through. The global environment for business, for enterprise, for trade, for commerce, everything shifted out of gear. Now, one notable experience is what? New market development, because the world is no longer linear. People must understand how different geographical locations play their role. So businesses need to understand geographic location, not just producing for the market. You needed to know the taste of people, the preferences of people in different geographical locations across the world. So it demanded a lot of research, a lot of leading and cutting edge knowledge in order to penetrate new markets. The next thing in the VUCA acronym is what you call complexity. The C is complexity. The world became complex, very unpredictable. Big influences were coming in. It was just impossible to just play around the traditional knowledge. So new fields of research emerge, and people must understand what other people in other geographic locations were doing. So market research became prominent and people needed to do. You need to understand various cultures, various geographies, and various tastes and preferences of people in various locations. So the last thing I want us to look at under the first acronym VUCA is ambiguity. The word never became clear again. Predictions were no longer yielding the result needed. So new forms of research were needed in order to understand what people's tastes and preferences are and what the future will look like. So basically, that's about the acronym VUCA. But as I said, it was a military post-war term, but it found its way into the global the business, the industry, and the commerce field. Now, how did people take advantage of that? By changing perspectives, by changing the traditional ways of doing things. So as young men who are entering into business, into global enterprise, we need to understand that perspectives have changed and people's ways of thinking are changing rapidly. The world is no longer as it used to be. The world has moved on and perspectives have changed over time. So we need to do real exploration, we need to research, we need to study trends, global trends, before we launch into business. As we were coming, or as Jones picked me earlier, we were having some just free discussion, and I was telling him that today, before you establish a business, you need to do a lot of market research. Else, you establish a business but will not get the right customers to patronize your business. So it is with any other thing you want to do. So in management today, leaders in industries are using some of these things to make their team strong and to make their team very, very knowledgeable in order to go through this volatile system, this ambiguous system, this uncertain system, and this complex system we are in now. So this will lead me to the second aspect of the discussion, which is the BANI. Quite recently, there was this American actor, a futurist called Jermaine Casio, C-A-S-I-O. Actually, he appeared in a lot of, he wrote a lot of things about the future of the world. He's a futurist. He thinks future. He thinks what are likely to happen in the future. So he brought about this thing called BANI. So he also put some acronym or some letters together to predict what the future is going to look like. So the 4 letters in the BANI acronym stand for Brittle, anxious, nonlinear, and incomprehensible. So I want to take the time to share a few perspectives about each of these letters and what they stand for, and how we can also, as young men, navigate the uncertain future we are living, or even the uncertain present we're living in, and the uncertain future that lies ahead of us. Now, the word BANI, as I said, stands for brittle, anxious, nonlinear, and incomprehensible. So brittle stands for what? Means what in this term? Things are now fragile, very breakable. You know, I said when COVID came, shortly after that, we had what we call the Russian-Ukraine war. And if you remember very well, these two things became topical in our national life as a people. I don't want to sound political, but people have given real excuses about these two events that occur globally, COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine war. Today we can even add Israel-Iran war, and we can even put US in bracket. Just within 12 days after Israel released its first missile on Iranian establishment, and Iranian also did a reprisal, for just 12 days, the world was a little bit topsy-turvy. We were shaking a little. What lied ahead, or what lies ahead? A lot of people were thinking about that. If America enters this war, what will be the future of the world? And just after 12 days, we know what happened. Missile rained in Israel as just, and somebody, I was reading something, the fatalities on the ground in Israel when Iran started retaliating or sending reprisal missiles. And we also saw what happened when America came into the scene. Just one night, the war ceased. So these are things that nobody thought in planning for the year 2025. But as soon as it happened, it started shaking things out of place. And when America intervened, if I should put it that way, I would say there was a truce. There was a break, a momentary break between these two countries that were at war. So the world is now fragile, very, very soft, very breakable. So plans, strategies are no longer for the long terms or even the medium terms. An event will shift plans out of place. So as we plan as young men, we need to be considering some of these eventualities that may come and take things out of order. In our days, any market is no longer predictable. Inflation can shake things out of price. Prices of petroleum on a day, OPEC can decide to, lower production and increase the price. It will shake a lot of things out of place, as we know already. When prices of basic things like crude oil on the world market goes up, you know how it affects us. Now, the second letter is anxious. We are living in a very anxious world. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So there's a little emotional turbulence in almost everyone and in almost every institution, every nation, and even every business. We are also facing some things like global terrorism. And if I say global terrorism, I'm even far. We are even having African terrorism or West African terrorism. And terror is almost around us. We have seen terror in Cote d'Ivoire, terror in Burkina, terror in Mali, terror in Niger, and in the Sahelian countries. And we were all not safe or secure in those years. But today, there is a little bit respite in all these things. So there is anxiety in the world. Now, what are some of the things driving this anxiety? The gamut of information being released on daily basis. And some of them are just fake news. But once we have uncontrolled media channels, media fronts, channeling all this on daily basis, people are becoming very, very anxious about what is going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen in the near future. Now, as I said already, when the pandemic occurred, you can just imagine the anxiety we all went through. I remember all these protocols, health protocols we need to observe. Social distancing, the wearing of masks, and the avoiding crowding in places, etc., etc. So we all underwent such stress, such anxiety on daily basis, not a year, not two. That situation lasted the whole of 2020, 2021, and somewhere around 2022 before some of the protocols were lifted and we had some sort of respite to go about life. So since then, though the physical COVID went down, the repercussion of that event lingered on till today. I think the whole of these 10 days I haven't been up to date with the news, but I don't know whether I heard something like if there is a new wave of COVID or so last week or this week ending. Yeah, I heard something like that. Yeah, the whole of this week I've been with a researcher along the coast. So, and when it is coming, you know, the protocols will come back and all other things no longer gathering, spacing out, and social distancing, and all this hand washing and sanitary gels and all this thing, the usage of all these things will come in. And our lives will no longer going to be same. And we're going to experience again what we used to call the new normal. The new normal. It's not normal, but we will have to undergo it. Yeah, so many global events also are keeping us anxious these days. One topical one is climate change. They are telling us that if we don't lower the degree to 1 or 1.5 in the global warming, then the repercussions are going to be high. The Paris Agreement, the COP, I think COP 30 is about to take place also in either Mexico or Cancun. That global platform for global change. This is the 30th one. Every year they gather to do this. But the question is, are we finding solutions? Is the world still anxious about global warming, climate change, and its impact on our health, on agriculture, on any other human aspect? So the world is not really safe, really secure. We still have a lot to battle with. Not only that, the current or the latest war, people are terming it is, if America enters the war, it's likely to be the third world war because Iran has enough ammunition to counter American threat and the rest. And other allies were gathering, like Russia or China, and to support Iran. And so it started sending some waves of anxiety in the entire global system. So if things like that are happening, I don't think it creates the enabling environment for people to think and think into the future. So future is no longer predictable, and our present situation is also not very well. And today there is the issue of transitioning from fossil fuel into green energy. And we are thinking how feasible it is if they stop total fossil fuel. Where are we going to be getting fuel or energy? People are talking about global. Is Africa ready for some of those things, or is going to be transfer of technology again to us? So some of us, we are always anxious when we hear things like the energy transition, moving from fossil fuel to renewable energy and green energy. So these terminologies around us are not keeping some of us safe mentally. Is it a what somebody is doing on us, a prank the global players are playing on us? And they say if you don't exploit your oil reserve quickly, by 2040 they become obsolete. They become how do you call it? Something assets. and nobody is going to drill oil again beyond 2040. So quickly you have to do it, etc., etc. So nations are very, very anxious. Leaders of nations are very, very anxious about how to go about their plans and their policies. Now, the last thing I want to talk about under BANI before we run it up with what should we do as young men and women is the incomprehensive nature of the world now. The world has become unpredictable. A lot of predictions are failing. Global prediction, all this growth, business growth, GDP growth, inflation growth, all these are not coming true. They are not coming to reality. So we seem not to understand a lot of things happening around us. So we are living in a very fragile environment, a very anxious environment. The world is no longer linear. The non-linearity of the world, when we say non-linear, traditional thinking, cause, effect, action, we can predict to a higher percentage the outcome of things. But today, no, even 50-50 is not there. You predict things, you plan things, it doesn't happen. If you remember during COVID, almost some of the growth, national GDP growth of countries were negative. But those countries predicted the red budget and predicted growth beyond a certain percentage. But truly speaking, some have not recovered from such low growth rate till now. So the world has become very incomprehensible. Now, another thing I want to mention here is the way we think. If you continue thinking the traditional way, then in a VUCA and a BANI world, we are going to be missing on prediction, missing on target, missing on projected outcomes. So there is a need for real creative thinking, solution thinking, innovative thinking. So we need to understand the situation we're in as a nation, as an institution, as an organization, as a business. So this type of thinking need to be done. I always tell some of my friends, they say thinking outside the box. No, we haven't even thought within the box yet. You are talking about thinking outside the box? Yes. So we need to be gathering think tank, people with creative ideas who could just look at trends, events to the short term and predict. As for the medium term, 3 years, 4 years, if you are planning now, predicting things, growth into 3 years, an event could just derail everything. A global event, even a national event. I remember Ebola. When Ebola came here, we are just witness about that. I think 2014, 2013, 2014 or so. Those last years of Mahama Regime 1. When Ebola came here, a lot of things were out of gear because we were not in readiness for those things. So we needed to work and work well. But I remember one event that I was putting a draft together is, I think a lot of you may not remember, but I know Viglo senior most will remember. There was a mine collapse, I think in either Peru or Chile. That's the name, Chile. There was a mine collapse around 2011, 2012. About 40 or so miners were trapped in a mine pit in Chile. You know, quickly they realized that they were not dead. The pit did not collapse on them. But there was a deep cave-in that blocked all entrance to them. So what they did is to gather brains from around the world. They were about 1.5 kilometers below the earth. I remember very well, I downloaded a lot of information on that. There was no device that could be used at that time to bring these 40 miners up. But what they realized is that they sent some vibration and the rest and realized that there was life. They were still living, but the days were passing. So they gather brains from NASA, National Aeronautic and Space Administration in the United States. They gather some scientists from Israel, from America, from Europe, and quickly they thought about how to get a hole to reach them safely, send devices in which one person could mount, and they will pull this device up. That device never existed before that time. So it was like a capsule. So they thought, they brought NASA because they used to go to the moon, and the astronauts used to have a certain technology based on that, how they live there. And when they put this thing together, I think in the, I can't recollect, but in a few days, they were able to come together with the device. And they did a barrowing, that is the barrel, a hole in, and descended this device into them. I hope after that you can Google it. The mine collapsed in Chile or so. And that device was able to go and pick the people one at a time up. And they were able to save all the 40 or so miners. I think it was a national something. It was covered daily on the national media. So those are the things that come in and change our perspective about life. Now, let's come to the way forward. Having used these two acronyms to tell us about the world in which we live, the volatility in the world today, the VUCA, we have volatility, we have uncertainty, we have the complexity, and we have the ambiguity. In BANI, we have the brittleness of issues, we have the anxiety that we are living in, we have the nonlinear system now. It's no longer cause and effect or reaction and action and reaction. It's now a total thinking. It's up and down, it's up and down, it's crest and trough that we're living in now, not a linear line. And we are also living in a world that's very incomprehensible. A lot of things are no longer in the purview. So the demand is that we need to start thinking and thinking, if not inside the box, then outside the box. Now, so for future leaders like us who are here this afternoon, how do we overcome some of these things that are daily occurrences now? Volatility, ambiguity, and all these things that we go through now. How do we prepare ourselves for the days and the years ahead? We must constantly improve our skills. That has been my DC. Canning, I call it canning. CANEI. Constantly and never-ending improvement. That's what should be our daily guide. Constantly improving. Constantly adding knowledge to our baggage of knowledge. I have talked to people who don't belong to our generation. I must be frank here. They are already old. Their knowledge is archaic. Their knowledge doesn't fit the day we're living in. Yeah, so what do we do in order to survive? I think Jones mentioned it. He said he's a salaried worker, but his business, small business, had more. I was a teacher for 10 years. He mentioned it. I taught him geography. I didn't teach Joshua, but he was in school when I was a teacher in Kitasco. What I remember about Joshua is his skills in playing guitar during Vespers, Sunday evening. And Jones is a drummer, right? He used to sit on the Sunday Vespers, right? Yeah. So I can remember how Joshua used to stand and play the guitar. He used to put one of his legs forward like this. He locks his this thing like this, and that's his position. I always admire the way he used. I say, I miss this thing while growing up. I couldn't play any of the musical instrument. You see? Yeah, so we must constantly improve, add skills as young men. Young men should not just be using the internet for play or for video and the rest. We should use it to school ourselves. So after teaching for 10 years, I decided to throw in the towel, and I went to Benin for 7 years to do business. I have been the CEO of UCMAS. How many of you know UCMAS? The mental arithmetic that children do. Yes, I obtained the franchise agreement in Ghana, Accra here, and I took it to Benin Republic. I became the national director of UCMAS in Benin. I introduced UCMAS to the Benin concept. I met the Minister of Education. After I talked to him for just 22 minutes, he marveled that there is something like that in the world. I met all the directors of education and I put the program before them. So for the past 8 years, I've been running UCMAS in Benin Republic. But not that. I came back. I normally come for holidays. And when I saw tourism thriving in Benin Republic, I came quickly and I registered as a tour guide, a licensed tour guide. So I take tour of people to Togo, to Benin, and in Ghana. So I decided to diversify myself in various areas. So the word we need multitasking people, we need multi-skilled people to go and face the uncertain, the very, very non-linear future we live in. So how do we do it? Ability to explore and focus on our strength as young men. We need to start discovering what we have and what use we can make of what we have. The ability to explore and focus on our strength. Me, I know I can multitask, so I decided to go doing that. We need cooperation with others, with practical solutions. It's no longer book, it's no longer theory, it's not practical aspect. So we need to do cooperation, partnership, networking with others of same field. The next thing, we need clear visions now. The world is unpredictable, but with a clear vision, we can navigate into the future. When the uncertainties happen, we will be able to what? Face them and take them as opportunities rather than what? Challenges that we will face into the future. Now, we need to be creative thinking. We need to be creative now. It's no longer the traditional way of thinking. We need to bring in new, novel things, new ideas. When you bring them out, people try to question them. But today they are working. I've been talking about coastal erosion for the past 12 or 13 years. We allow the sea to wear away our coast until the entire coast is gone. Now, before we want to solve it. As a geographer who did coastal geomorphology, I know our coasts are going to be worn away in the not too distant future. And when I was crying, people say, oh, you crying wolf. Today, the whole of Salakope, Agaveji no longer there. Over 300, 400 meters. We could have prevented that long ago. I saw it and I thought through. And I have written a lot about it. That if we don't do anything, our coast will go. Puvema is gone. Atiteti is gone into the sea. I knew those communities in 2010, 2011, 2012. When I go there now, the Google Map location tells me that those places are deep into the sea. So we need to start thinking outside the box. The next thing, we need to learn to deal with data. Data is key. Just yesterday, I finished helping one researcher to come and collect data on our coast. So we need data, scientific data, to be able to predict some of these things. The next thing is intelligent use of technology. Technology has come to stay. We need to know what it is, how to make full use and good use of it in modern times. We shouldn't use it to our detriment or to our harm. We should use it as a tool that can help us, solve the uncertainty and the ambiguity of life today. The next thing is innovation and co-production. You can't do it alone. You need to come together as a group, co-create things, co-create solutions, co-create models, co-create paradigms that you can implement in uncertain world. The next and last thing I want to share here is flexibility and ability to adapt. When you have some rigid plan in place and the world has changed, things have moved out of place, and you are still holding on to those things, you may not be able to navigate through. You may not be able to sail through successfully. So we need to be flexible in our plans. We need to be flexible in our predictions and in future outcomes that we want to get from what we do. If you put all these things together, then as young men and women, we will be able to forge our destiny, whether personal destiny, business destiny, or even, why not, our professional destiny in the midst of uncertainty of the future, we'll be able to do something that will last beyond us. So, in short, these are some of the ideas I want to run with you, that we are living in very volatile world, very ambiguous world, very complex world, and very uncertain world. So, do we have what it will take us to navigate through this world we're living in today? It will take exploration, it will take real hunger for new knowledge to be able to do that. On this note, I want to thank you for the opportunity. God bless you.
Please let's do it out for Mr. Joel Degue again. As he was speaking, my mind just went back to those days we were using that to watch films. And you could see that he was just unpacking the things like the deck is releasing or whatever has been recorded on the decks. Thank you so much, Mr. Joel, for blessing us. Please, let's give it up for him once again. And one key thing that I took away at your latter part is that we need to collaborate. You cannot do it alone. And on that note, let me use this opportunity to say kudos to Honorable Hubert and his group, Vixen, that are collaborating in an agribusiness, right? Yes, please, let's give it up for these young guys. They are actually practicing what we are teaching them, and what they are testimony of what Mr. Joel just said. And it is an example for all of us to emulate. Now, as we are talking about business and strategic business management, we would like to, once again, you have seen some displays of clothing outlines there, and you don't know what they are, or do you know them? You don't know yet. So before we get to those ones, let's invite some few questions for Mr. Joel on whatever he has presented to us this afternoon, this evening. We are inviting at least 4 questions that he can explain detailed into the latter part of his presentation. Having laid the foundation, took us back into history, took us back into what he was doing as a geographer, predicted whatever will happen at our coastal areas, but we sat aloof, and here we are. What questions do you have for him? Let's have those questions as quickly as possible so that we can take the next presentation. Thank you. If you have any questions, let me see your hands up. Let me see your hands up. 1. Vixen, are you raising your hand? Who else? Honorable, you have any question? You have question. 1, 2. Who else? A lady to ask a question. Hubert, you have any question? Not yet. It's a suggestion. Okay, so raise your hand. So we have 3. Who else? All right, so Mr. Joel, please, we need your attention to the questions. Please. You tell us your name and maybe the constituency you represent.
Thank you very much. My name is Doche Samson. Please, I would like to ask that how can Russia and Ukraine war, a war that is happening outside Ghana, affect businesses in Ghana? Because when this happened, a lot of politicians in this country told us that it is having an impact on businesses and then the economy in Ghana here. And people question, how can something that is happening outside Ghana affect businesses in Ghana. So I want to know if that can actually affect businesses and the economic issues in Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you, Doche. Who is next to ask the question? I think Hubert said you have a suggestion.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Degue, for that brilliant presentation. Mine is not a question, but just a statement I would like to make with respect to the coastal erosion that you spoke about. Yes, this you've said it has been predicted years back, but it seems our leaders are just sleeping on it. A lot of recommendations have been made with respect to how we can manage our coastal belts so that our properties there can still be intact. But I don't know actually know what's the cause of all these leadership negligence about some specific things in this country that we have to pay critical attention to, but we always try to do lip service to all those things for which we are seeing the impact now. Devastating, a lot of things, a lot of resources going down the drain. But it's high time that we actually wake up to the tax being given to. I think from the time that you've raised all these issues, like attention has been drawn to it, or they've actually paid attention to it, we wouldn't have been seeing the devastation today. So once again, thank you for such a brilliant presentation, and then you took us back to memory lane back. So I think the video will be uploaded to our YouTube and then Facebook. So once a while, we will also revisit it and then keep ourselves informed and then updated about your presentation. And I'll say kudos to your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Mr. Jones.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Joe Degue, for your presentation. Indeed, your presentation, some of my colleagues were not understanding that we are speaking on the impact it had on businesses. I do recall that if not for COVID-19, a lot of churches wouldn't have started this streaming of services. Businesses that ignored the technological advancement that was coming around were now turning to technology in order to survive. I know that a lot of businesses started creating their Facebook pages due to COVID-19, the emergence of COVID-19. From your presentation, you are trying to tell us to be ready for some of these disasters because COVID-19 is not the last. Russian-Ukraine war is not the last. Iran war is not the last. More are coming. If you could clarify how small businesses and potential businesses soon to emanate from here, incoming billionaires, can prepare for this natural disaster so that, yes, so that it doesn't affect our businesses. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? The last one is still vacant.
All right, thanks very much, Mr. Joe, for the presentation made so far. I commend you. Yeah, my question is very simple. You made mention of two acronyms, that's VUCA and then BANI. And then you made mention again how we should be able to prepare ourselves so that when these uncertainties, all these challenges that we encounter, when we encounter these challenges again, we should be able to withstand the shocks that it brings to our economy, our businesses. For instance, you say you should start discovering new ideas, cooperation, partnerships, connections. You should bring you should exhibit intelligent use of technology, innovation, co-creation, flexibility, and plans to adapt. We can all attest to the fact that over the years, this is not how technology has been run around the world. There has been an add up to the existing one. But yes, the situation remains the same. The problem remains the same. What should we do? What should we do again? Or what is it that we are not doing that make us, even though, should I say, Measures have been put in place for all this while, but yet still we are facing the shocks anytime these challenges enters our shores as far as Ghana's economy and businesses are concerned. Thank you.
Thank you. Somebody has another thing to say. Sure. You don't have anything. Sure. Sure.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your presentation. My brother here was talking about the Russia-Ukraine war. Can you hear me? Uh, I would just like to add, like, the rise in dollar also affected businesses. You go to the market, traders will tell you there's rise in dollar, and so they increase their prices. Now that there's a fall in dollar, they refuse to reduce prices. And another question has to do with we small business owners, like your salary is not enough. Yet, for example, let me use myself as example. I love cooking, and I decide to set up a small restaurant. Now you are flourishing, making money because you rented the space. The landowners come with some stories and they see you prospering, they take the place from you. Meanwhile, you don't have money, enough money to buy a land to start. Because as you said, the more you wait, things come up. So how do we handle such situations? We set up small businesses and it's prospering, and the landlord, they come up with stories. Either they increase the price that you can afford or bring out some story to destroy your businesses. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. For I want to move along the same line in which the question were asked. Can Russia and Ukraine war, or how can Russia and Ukraine war affect us? It can. It can. And I want to be frank and very simple in answering here. We are an import-dependent country. The bread that the 33 million Ghanaians eat, no grain of the wheat is produced in Ghana. I can't get the figures because I was taking note, else I would have gotten the figures. Check. Can I check and see the tonnage of wheat that we bring into this country? Not only that, the yeast, the leavening materials, anything that goes with bread, the margarine, we import them. And Ukraine is one of the largest exporter of grains, especially wheat. So when the war was going on there, they won't leave defending, protecting, securing their country to come and ship. They have already made enough money. You know, Ukraine has enough food for the next 15 to 20 years. If that war supposed to have continued, at least they will get food for their people before fighting the war. Yeah, so they have food security, food sufficiency, food independence, and we are importing everything. So the war will affect us. You know, fertilizer, Ukraine is one of the largest producers of inorganic fertilizers. And Ghana, I don't know how much we produce locally. So when the war was going on, the import of those things were all affected. Not only that, oil. Ukraine is an oil-rich country, and gas. I think they have one of the largest gas pipe or so, gas pro, connecting them to Europe. So, and there was this old saying that when America sneezes, the whole world catches a cold. So when these big players are affected in one way or the other, the small ones who depend on them always suffer. So that is why how it affected us. Number two, the coastal erosion. Yes, we lost territorial land. We lost heritage the people of Salakope and Agaveji, that's where their forebears from Woche settle. That's where their umbilical cord and grave have been buried. Everything is gone into the sea. No matter where they put them now, they will be longing for their ancestral lands. Here we don't see the import of that thing I just said, but in other places, it's really part of their existence. And so we shouldn't allow those things to occur again. 2, 3 heavy rains, there's flood all over us again. I started hearing that. Somebody is saying, I'm tackling the next question. How can we use technology? Oh no, I jump over the question that was asking about what happened during COVID. From COVID, technology came in. I think Jones started talking about it. Instead of people working from a place called a physical office, people were working online. From offline to online now. People from the physical office, they are now working from home. You heard all these things. Powered by what? Technology. I think Zoom was having Zoom wealth was around 7 billion annually. But during COVID, I think it jumped to over 20 billion because people are now using Zoom technology for everything. The man became rich while the world was suffering from. Yeah, you can check the record. The record is there. I was studying it some time ago. Yeah. So that's it. So we move from a global village to a digital village. So everything is now being worked on online. From office to online now. So you don't need to go. You can work from home, send results, send report, and everything. Now, somebody say, how do you address some of the natural disasters to happen? But how prepared are we? I remember June 3rd, 2015, the Accra disaster, the flood disaster. Yeah, you know, it first rain in Accra got flooded again recently. After 10 years, you couldn't solve it. How do you use technology? In other countries, no matter the volume of the rain, it gets into the underground drains and goes somewhere. Not into the CO, it goes into a storage place where they, how do you do it? They retrieve that water and bring it back to be used. That's how people have used technology and innovation to solve issues of flood. It pains me that I have seen flood all my life in Accra, and my children are seeing flood, and it's likely their children too will see flood. Where have we gone to? Have we gone or have we come? Or did we go or did we come? There is a saying like that. Yeah, so that's it. Technology is there. How are we using it? One example I want to use to stop this. Our cocoa. How much do we transform here? It pains me that today we can ship cocoa out of this country. Our oldest export. When did cocoa come to Ghana? 18 something. Today we can transform the entire cocoa. The entire cocoa production globally is about 7 billion, the raw cocoa, the raw beans. But when they add value to the 7 billion raw beans, it's about 102 billion value addition. If Ghana were to be adding value to its cocoa, we may be getting over 10 billion instead of the 2 billion we get exporting it. So that's what the technology can do, industry technology. Yeah, so because we are not doing that, that's where today they say the price on the world market has gone down and we suffer. Chocolate price doesn't go down. Milo price doesn't go down. Chocolate paste doesn't go down. But it's the raw beans price that goes down. What do? We use technology to transform at least 80 to 90% of our cocoa, and then technology will have helped us. Now, I think the last one is, how do small businesses able to cope? You cope by preparing, and I want to link that one to the last question. Before, if it is rain, to avoid that thing rent for long lease and bind it with a document, bind it in the legal framework. You won't sack me until it is over. If you want to sack me, there's penalty you pay for me. If I get that money through legal fees, I could go and buy land. So that's what a friend taught me. Do a 5-year. Within the 5 year, prepare to get your own land, get your own space somewhere. Don't do a 6-month rental of a space somewhere and bring in your resources, your money, and you start something, and in just 3 months they say when the 6 months expire, we want to take our place. No, don't do that. So make sure you go for long lease to secure your place. That will give you the time to operate, get revenue, get profit, and use it to secure a place for yourself. Don't do short-term things that will give opportunity to others to come and just tell you that they want their place. And the only thing you can survive the future is for small businesses is to prepare for it. Nobody knows the future, but the best way to predict the future is to create one and prepare for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joel Degue. I love the Degue part. I hope everybody's curiosity has been satisfied in a way. If you need more clarification, I think you can consult him one-on-one and then have a conversation, heart-to-heart conversation with him. Please, let's give it up for Mr. Degue once again. My only challenge about all these things is that young people are willing to do things, but is the system supporting them? The system that we have created around the business space in this country, are the youth really being supported? That I doubt, but we'll leave it to prosperity to judge. Please, let's welcome another businessman. When he came here, he said it is his businesses that has been supporting him. Forget about salary. So he has decided to go into clothing line. And he will tell us why and what kind of strategy he is using in there for the business to succeed. Please, let's welcome the President of the Senate of the YIP, Mr. Jones Amegashie-Viglo.
Thank you very much, MC. Please, as you know, today, Viglo Senior is here, so you cannot be spoiling our name like that. The name, for the records, is Amegashie-Viglo. Thank you. So, just quickly, this clothing line that you are seeing here is being owned by Alinton Sealey. We can call it the Alinton Clothing Lines. And these are shirts branded with Adinkra signs. This one is an exquisite one, firstborn. It's not firstborn literally, but it refers to the fact that the black men were the first beings, Adam and Eve. That is the meaning of this firstborn here. And you can see that one, it has Adinkra signs. This one as well has the Adinkra Hine. And then the one there is the pixelate version. So each of the shirts goes for 100 cedis. If you are interested, WhatsApp me and then we'll see how we can do it. Of course, Momo, and then I'll box it to you. Anything else, no be one a problem. No credit. Because if I'm giving you credit, how can we produce more? So come and buy not less than 5. Any color. Thank you. This is a business summit, so the businesses are coming. So once again, 100 cedis, Alinton Clothing Lines, very, very quality materials. Yes. So if you're interested, contact me, and then that brings this short one to an end. Thank you very much, MC.
Thank you so much, Mr. Viglo. Please, let's give it up for Mr. Jones Amegashie-Viglo or Viglo. Which one is the one? Thank you so much, Mr. President, for that one. And there are many businesses here. If you want to give opportunity to them to exhibit, you are not going to live here. So let's, on this note, acknowledge the presence of the SRC Vice President. The reason why we have this space to ourselves for this very important event. And he also doubles as the majority leader of the Senate, Mr. Elisha Kahia. Please let's acknowledge his presence with a hand of applause. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening us this place. Thank you for the support for the movement. We pray that anytime we call on you, you will serve us right, especially as you are the majority leader of the Senate. And you have a role to play here. Let's welcome to the stage the SRC President and the majority leader of the Senate to introduce our second speaker, Mr. Elisha. Let's welcome him with a hand of applause. Please, let's do it better as he comes. That is the SRC Vice President. Thank you.
All right, thank you, my honorable member. As you know, my name is Elisha Kahia, and I'm glad to introduce our next guest speaker. A brief notice or note from Elisha Kahia on Mr. Simon Amegashie-Viglo. Mr. Simon Amegashie-Viglo, on the other hand, is a distinguished Ghanaian academic, public policy analyst, and Pan-African scholar. He has held various leadership roles at Ho Technical University, including Vice Rector, Dean of International Programs, Dean of Faculty of Applied Social Sciences. His academic journey includes a BA in Political Science and an MPhil in African Studies from the University of Ghana, an executive MBA from KNUST, and a certificate in Strategic Management from GIMPA. Mr. Amegashie-Viglo is a prolific writer with over 27 peer-reviewed publications and several books, including The Political Economy of Colonial and Post-Colonial Africa and Double Heritage of Africa. His research interests span governance, decentralization, informal sector development, African identity, and sustainable development. Through teaching, research, and community engagement, he has contributed significantly to intellectual discourse in Ghana and across Africa, advocating for decolonized education and inclusive policy making. Honorable members, on that note, let's welcome Mr. Simon Amegashie-Viglo to the podium.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. President of the Youth Impact Movement, members, I greet you. My brother Joel Degue from Keta, you are welcome. Joel Degue is a gentleman who I heard about some 3 years ago when my son Joshua brought me one of the books he published on tourism. Today, I have the privilege of not only meeting him one-on-one, but listening to his intellectual discourse. Thank you very much for coming all the way from Keta to support the youth movement over here. The youth impact movement, this particular one, I must say, has brought a lot of glory to the Volta region. you yourselves might not be aware when we go to Parliament or Accra for big functions. So, oh, you people are doing a very wonderful job. You are doing a very wonderful job. Oh, who is that? Jones guy. Is he your son or your younger brother? So, no, he's my son. And I must acknowledge the trophy you won in Parliament. That really, yeah, that really blew everything. But I know it takes the effort of a lot of you over here. I am used to talking to large crowds of people. So when my son Jones convinced me for the very first time to come and give a talk, I thought I was coming to meet a huge crowd. As vice rector or dean of faculty at the whole technical university those days, auditorium, large, 1,000 plus, then we talk. But here, I have the tragedy of talking to virtually an empty DC. But I am not discouraged by that. Why am I not discouraged? I am not discouraged because when our Lord Jesus Christ started his enterprise, only 12 people. Yeah, I think we are about 21. It means 12 plus another 9. And 9 is important for the region. Joel, our brother Joel, has spoken, and I want to continue. Strategic Management Summit. The theme is forging your destiny in the midst of uncertainty. Forging your destiny in the midst of uncertainty. So what is destiny? And what is uncertainty? Destiny is what you want to become or you are likely to become in future. Is that not it? And uncertainty is the situation inside that you cannot control, but you need to move on. The destiny of a mango seed is to grow to become a mango tree and bear fruits for people to enjoy. If you look at all of us over here, we can compare our lives to a tree. Every human being, your life can be compared to a tree. And that's where destiny comes inside. How am I saying a human being is a tree? It's an analogy. If you take a tree, it has 3 main parts. We have the roots, we have the stem, and then we have the branches, the leaves, and flowers. If you take any human being, its growth and development can be likened to a tree. Your roots represent your past, or you say your past, where you originated from, your parents, the school you attended, the way you were brought up, the value system that really make you who you are. That's your root. But if you take a tree, it is the roots that you do not see at a glance, even though the roots are there. That is why when you take human beings, you see a human being, you do not know the person's roots, that is his past, who his parents were, how he was brought up, the value system, you don't know. But if a tree falls, or you dig the roots, you will know what it contains. That is how it is for all of us over here. All of you here have your roots. Where you were born, how you were brought up. It was not your choice. It was a decision by your dad and your mom. You were born. So this issue of root, you cannot determine it. You are born either an Ashanti, a Dagomba, an Ebe, a Dagati, or a Ga. You don't have a choice about it. That's about your root. But your future, what you become, that is your branches and the distance. Your present, we can liken to your stem. That will let you be very firm on the ground. But the fruits you will bear, what sort of fruits will you bear? With your education, with your learning, with all these leadership skills. That is what we are talking about when we talk about destiny. Your destiny may have something to do with your root, but your root cannot stop you from achieving your destiny. For most of you, you have become victims of your roots. Oh, my dad is a very poor man. That's why I am like this. Oh, my mom didn't go to school. If my dad were a medical doctor or an engineer, oh, I would have been this, I would have been that. That's begging the problem. It's defeatist. It is defeatist. As young people who are trying to develop yourselves and become something in future, you need to think strategically. You need to manage your lives as a project. What do I mean by managing yourself as a project or strategic management of your lives? When we talk about strategic management, we simply mean the process of formulating and implementing policies that will let you achieve the objectives of your own life. And in doing this, there are various stages. There are various stages. We have what you call the identification of the needs or the challenges you are facing. And you have what you call, you do an analysis of the environment. We have what you call SWOT analysis. Have you heard of that before? Let's see by hands. Those of you who have read SWOT analysis. What does that mean? Strength, weakness, opportunities, and then threats. So when you see yourself in any situation, you do a SWOT analysis of your environment, of your circumstances. As leaders, you do SWOT analysis. What are the weaknesses that you have as an organization? That is internal to you. SWOT analysis, you have the weaknesses for internal, and then the opportunities also internal, then the threats. You have SWOT analysis, your strength and your weaknesses for internal, opportunities and threats for external. Then apart from that, there is also another that we use for environmental scanning. We call it pest analysis. I think you have heard that one too before. Have you heard pest analysis? SRC? No. You have heard, yeah. Okay, you are outside that team. Pest simply means the analysis of the political environment, the economic environment, the social environment, the technological environment. So we call it pest analysis. You do it of your own life or of your organization, of your business, and see what if you talk about the political, what sort of government do you have? Is it supportive of businesses? What laws and regulations are there? Then when we talk about the economy, exchange rate, what sort of exchange rate regime do you have? What sort of inflation? Very high or very low? Dollar exchange rate and all those things affect your business and they affect the decision that you make. Then when we talk about the social environment, we're talking about the culture of the people, the sort of food. Madam is talking about she having a restaurant. You will need to know the type of food that the people like and what they can afford and the seasons that they eat those things. That will help you know what menu to put on your restaurant. That will help you know what to put. Now, in doing a strategic plan, my purpose of talking about strategic plan is not to make you people experts in the preparation of strategic plan. No. But that will help you have a basic understanding of what strategic planning is. There are various stages. There are about 10 stages. And let me take them one by one. The first stage is what we call the determination of the vision. Vision. When we talk about vision, we are talking about what the organization wants to be ultimately. What do you want to be ultimately? For example, if you take the vision of whole technical university, I think to be a center of excellence, producing people in engineering, etc., for national development. I'm not sure I'm getting it correct, but I'm just trying to paraphrase it. So when we talk about vision, it simply means the ultimate, what you ultimately want to become.
This one is movable, so if you want to move it, you can.
So if you take vision, that is the ability to see what is not yet in existence and the determination to bring it to reality. Exactly. I'm saying that when we talk about vision, when we talk about vision, we are referring to the ability to see what is not yet in existence and the determination to bring it about. Now, if we take the mango seed, for example, its destiny is within it. If you want it to sprout and reach its destiny, it will have to leave this comfort zone of a kitchen cabinet and be buried in the soil, where it will confront heat, moisture, water, and darkness. Then it will sprout and grow, become a mango tree. Now, as leaders, you will need to leave your comfort zones like a mango seed from the kitchen cabinet into the soil. Then you will sprout. Hope you are following me. If you do not leave your comfort zone and get down, you can never be anybody. So as you want to become leaders, your proposal must be such that when people see, they start laughing at you. If you have never presented a proposal that people laugh at and say, this thing can never work, then your vision has never been big enough. If you have never presented a proposal or a vision to maybe your peers, your workplace, your church, and everybody starts laughing. Oh, this thing cannot work. This thing cannot work. Then it's not good enough. So 35 years ago, I decided to plant 50. My grandfather gave me something very small. So I bought seedlings, 60 seedlings. When I was planting it, my uncles, my aunties, my elder brothers, cousins, they all came around. They said, yes, what my grandfather has been saying about education, you are a proof of it. As my grandfather been saying, he said, education will turn the man's mind outside down. So my mind has been turned upside down because I have decided to plant teachers. And they asked me, will you be alive till the teaching will develop? You see, any serious level is an investment. So we are a family, even if I die, people are there. You will use it, even if I die. So we are not fit to plant trees and die for some fools to come and do. I am alive now, 35 years ago. I harvested the teak trees. I think the cost came about how many times? About 5 or 6 times with ear plants for a project that I did all the timber. I brought it from my own land because I saw the end from the beginning. Because I saw the end from the beginning. If I had taken or listened to them, no, I would die and some other people would benefit. I would have had to buy timber more than two, it cost me more than 300,000. That is what we call vision. Your ability to see the end from the beginning. Your ability to see what is not yet available. You are able to see it in your mind's eyes, and you are determined to bring it about. And that's what you should be doing as youth leaders. The other stage is what we call the mission. What should be your mission? The mission is the purpose of the organization, what you want to do. In fact, if you go to most organizations, you see strategic plan, vision, mission statement, you see all those things. Maybe you do not understand or you have just been hearing it. It simply means the purpose for which that organization has been set up. Now, if I may ask you, youth leaders as you are, what is your mission? I've read your mission statement several times. And your president is a very persuasive young man. Yesterday, I told him that I will no longer attend. If Joel will come, talk to him so that I will go to some other place. Oh, that, you don't do that to rest. I said, well, the thing is still so. I will go and look at it. He is very persuasive when it comes to the surface. He was able to convince me to postpone what I wanted to come here and talk. Purpose, ability to let people understand your purpose and be ready to support you to achieve your aim. That's that. The other is what we call core values. In fact, in strategic management, we have what we call strategy equation. Have you read that? Tell everybody who did a strategic management as an academic discipline among the leaders. We are going to call strategy equation. And strategy equation equals the ends plus means plus rules. I will explain that. When you talk about means, people say the end justifies the mean, the end justifies the means. When we talk about strategic planning, the vision is an end, the mission is an end, the core value is an end, the objective is an end. Now you need the four objectives, you have goals. The goal is an end, their objective, they are all ends. Is that okay? Huh? So core values, are you going to be very honest, very transparent? Will you respect each other? You have respect for the environment, for time management and all those things? That's what we call core values. We must stick to it. Then the other one, the other stage is what we call goals. How to set up your goals as an individual and as an organization, as a church, as a workplace, your goals. So when we talk about goals, what is goal? What are goals? Maybe a goal, how is it do this? Is both a direction and a destination. But you don't put it broadly. Goals are stated broadly. For example, your goal may be to raise leaders for the future. The goal of a university like this is to produce intellectuals. The hospital's goal may be to, what is that? Be to preventive and curative medicine. That's stated broadly. Is that it? So we are saying that the goal in strategic management is both a direction and what? Destination. When you say direction, you are giving policy direction to what you want to do. So if you decide that this is what you are doing, it is a determination of the goal. And the destination in the sense that this is where we want to reach. Is that okay? All right. Then the other stage is what we call objectives. In strategic management, we have what we call objectives. Objectives are the specific things that you want to achieve. We say that they must be smart. Objectives must be what? Smart. In strategic management, it must be smart. When we say something is smart, strategic management, it means it must be specific. It must be specific. It must be what? Measurable. It must be achievable. It must be realistic, and it must be time bound. What did we say? We said that it must be what? Be smart. And being smart, we say it must be what? Specific. It must be measurable. It must be achievable, realistic, and time bound. So an example of an objective is maybe train 25 youth leaders in secondary schools by the end of the year. I'm talking about youth impact. That is an objective because we can find out at the end of the year whether you have been able to get 25. Is that okay? The government can say that to complete 200 school blocks by the end of the year. If at the end of the year we can go and find out, count, and know whether they've been able to achieve that. So that is what we call objective. And now in strategic management, after listing your objectives, you use the objectives to prepare an action plan. And by action plan, For example, if you say you want to train 25 youth in secondary school, you identify the secondary schools, the type of students that you want, how the dates that you'll be meeting them, and what you will be treating when you meet them. So after getting your action plan, then that takes it to the next level, budgeting. You budget. That is, how much will it cost you to run a particular program? I think you've, in part, you have been doing budget. I see the president going around buying water, Fanta, Coke, anytime you want to be. It's a budgetary issue. That we call it allocation of resources, venue, and even if you bring some people from outside where they will sleep, or they will eat, they are all part of what? Your allocation, the budgeting. Then after doing that, you can now start implementation. Implementation is the actual work going around to do what you have planned to do. If such a thing happens, you are doing implementation stage of your plan. And during the implementation, during the implementation, we have monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring and evaluation, that's the time you go around to see whether what you plan to do is what is actually happening on the ground. I've been telling people that in the business of delegating authority, what you inspect is what you get, not what you expect. Can I take that again? I'm saying that I've been telling people that in the business of delegating power, what you inspect is what you get, not what you expect. What do I mean by this? If you have planned that this is what you are going to do, the monitoring and evaluation will tell you whether you are succeeding or you are not succeeding in that particular implementation effort. Then the last part of a strategic plan is the review. The review can be an annual review. It can be biannual or 6 months or quarterly, depending on the organization. So the review simply means you look at the whole plan and see which part is working and which part is not working. And if it's not working, you make amendment or you change it to suit your circumstances. So that's what you call review. So I am saying that when we talk about the strategic management process, as it applies to organizations, individuals, workplaces, churches, there are 10 main stages which I have attempted to explain to you. The first one is the vision. The second one is the vision. The third one, the core values. The fourth, goals. The fifth, objectives. The sixth, action plan. The seventh, budgeting. Eighth, implementation. Then nine, valuation of expected outcomes. And the final one is what you call the review of the strategic plan. Now, what is it really necessary for organizations or individuals to have strategic plans? Is it necessary that you waste all your time doing all these things to prepare a plan? Then the summary like this, you put it in your office, and then you may never even read it again. Yes, it is important because we are talking about destiny in terms of uncertainty. First, the destiny must be crafted in a strategic plan. That one once in a while, you can read through, convince yourself about what is working and what is not working. What is working from what is not working. It is there to guide you to achieve your destiny. And it is not always the case that you can achieve your vision as an organization or as an individual, but you pursue it to an end, a point. And even that, and people who believe in it might come and continue. For example, if you take Kwame Nkrumah, he had a vision of uniting the whole of what? Africa, so that Africa will have only one president, a common parliament, common currency, one military command, and all those things. Removal of barriers. More than 60 years now, we don't have it. So that vision is still there. People can look at it, review it, and try to do it. Gaddafi came and tried, he was also removed. He was also removed. So I would want to say that strategic listening is important. Before I wind up, I would want to say that it is important for 5 main reasons which I want us to discuss. Strategic planning for businesses is important. One, it reduces the levels of uncertainty. If you want to do something, you must be clear in your mind that this is what you want to do. So when you write it down, then it reduces the uncertainty that you face. 2, it helps in guessing the future. See, should I say guessing? Yeah, it's like accurately or fairly accurately trying to guess the future within the uncertainties that confront you. And it also increases organizational efficiency. Now, strategic planning is more of a thinking activity rather than a doing activity. I don't know whether you get me. It's an intellectual exercise. That is why it's done at the highest level, the strategic level. Board of governors, councils, they give strategic direction because it is a thinking activity. Then the final one is that it helps you to measure the difference between what you have achieved and what you have put on paper. When we talk about the benefits of strategic planning, they may be put into 2 categories. We have the financial benefits and the non-financial benefits. The financial benefits is you can reduce cost, you can maximize profit for shareholders and stakeholders. And the non-financial ones, the image of the organization, the branding of your organization, and employee motivation, and then reduction of resistance to change within the organization. By way of winding up on my conversation with you, I want to say that every human being needs to think strategically in situations confronting you. And for you to achieve the purpose of your calling, whether as an engineer, as a marketer, as a banker, as a contractor, you need to leave your comfort zone. When God called Abraham, he left his family behind his house behind, his cousins, uncles, etc. And he left with only his nephew, Lot. He left his comfort zone, went into the wilderness because God promised him a land of a land flowing with what? Milk and honey. So you should also learn to leave your comfort zone. Your president was talking about his salary and how he had to add some other income coming. This is a way of leaving your comfort zone. His master, Joel Degue, thought for some time. He saw that no, I had to leave my comfort zone of going to teach geography every now and then. After 10 years, you see what he's doing. Now, people even in BANI and beyond are benefiting from his decision to leave his comfort zone. The question I want to ask you, are you in your comfort zone? What is your comfort zone? How long have you been in your comfort zone? Are you prepared to leave your comfort zone, or you are afraid that people will laugh at you? If you ever want to achieve anything or something great, you must be ready to be laughed at by people who think that what you have put on paper cannot be achieved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please let's do it up for him again. Senior most Amegashie-Viglo. Thank you so much for blessing us and for the insights. So quickly have 4 questions or any questions that we have. If you have any questions for, okay, Kiki, who else? Who else? Questions from the second presentation. Who else has a question? Okay, Ivan, who else? Ivan, do you have a question? Okay, correct. Do you have a question? Correct. Okay, ladies first. So let me go to the ladies. So that.
My question, okay, my observation so far, I don't know how old I am. So far, only the comprehensive this was the salary rates. I would like to ask if it is good to enter the business world and getting employed by
Did I?
the government, because a lot of the youth are spending government. Let me give a proposal. That is, they are still at the proposal. People have finished degree and saying they are going for another degree.
Thank you so much. Honorable Majority Leader.
All right, thank you very much.
Senior most
Senior most Simon, Mr. Simon Agbaxode,
Viglo.
for such a brilliant presentation. It's inspired by presentation. So, yes, so during the presentation, I've actually noticed something about and at the later part of the presentation, you mentioned that there then my question is actually approximately mine. So women had a vision for this country, and God has required all the facilities that he has stated or he has actually used years back. Most of them are helping us today, are actually saving us today from a lot of harm. You can mention a lot of them, they are also moved down and their lives. And from that time, we've seen how some of these facilities are being managed by this politician. And year in year after, or every 4 years, we keep on electing new leaders for this country. So, for your observation, think we've actually done enough to let the best leaders of this country that actually have vision as compared to what Nkrumah had years back, that we perceive into the future that some time to come we will face with these challenges, and for such we have to put these facilities in place. But just one side of it is the flooding issue that confronts us each and every day. To your best and so probably you think we've done enough in electing visionary leaders for this community? That's my question.
Thank you, Majority Leader. The next, Evans.
Thank you, Anibas. I want to ask a question concerning this. Your mission, your objectives, and your goals. What is the difference between them? I didn't get it together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Evans. And to add to the questions, I would also like to ask for the action plan you spoke about, the foundation of that action plan, majority of them is on finances. How can young entrepreneurs or business people get access to finance their vision? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Most senior most Mr. Simon, Agbaxode for the brilliant presentation made. Yes, I've been hearing of you, I know for some time. But we didn't meet in this such a gathering before to hear from you and learn from your impacts and insights. All right, for my question, I just want to marry vision. In the First Republic, around Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's era, we started leading this country with a party called CPP. But that since Dr. Kwame Nkrumah left this nation, or has been called to glory, CPP has never come to power before. In the First Republic and the Fourth Republic, Fred Lieutenant David Nonlinear Smith, forming NDC, born out of NDC. And for this 33 years democratical dispensation that we find ourselves, NDC has been in power. Now, my question is that the vision that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah brought on board, was it not realized by the members of the CPP or the four members of the CPP as compared to NDC, born out of PNDC by Black Leader and David Lawrence? Thank you.
Okay, the politicians are talking, the people of history are talking. So we'll invite our speaker once again to have justice done to those questions. Thank you. Please give it up for him as he claims again. Thank you.
Socrates was once confronted by three people. They had a bird in hand. And they asked him, Socrates, you know the oracle of Delphi has said you are the wisest man in Athens. Now tell us, is this bird alive or it is dead? Their plan was that if he says the bird is dead, they will allow the bird to fly. Say, Socrates, you are not the wise one after all. If he says the bird is dead, they will leave it to fly. If he says it's alive, they'll press it and it will die. So, whatever way Socrates gave an answer, he will be marked wrong because of the mentality with which the question was asked. I hope you are getting me. I'm not saying that's the mentality you have. Just want to establish the background before I bring my answers. That same Socrates challenged the oracle of Delphi. How did he do that? 3 Athenians went to the oracle of Delphi and they said, we want to know who the wisest person in Athens is. They said, oh, none of you. So how? He said, oh, none of you. He said, is there anybody who is wise? He said, yes. The only wise man in Athens is Socrates. Then the message got to Socrates. He went to the oracle and told the oracle, for the first time, you have lied to the people because I am not a wise man, let alone the wisest person. I've come to tell you that you should stop deceiving the people. I think you all know what the oracle told him for purposes of remembrance. The oracle told Socrates that, oh, we are surprised you do not know that you are the wisest person in Athens. Because you are the wisest person in Athens, because you are the only person who knows that you do not know anything. Have you got my answer? You are the only person in Athens who knows that you do not know anything. I want to use this Socratic model. Everybody knows something, but nobody knows everything. So the answer I might provide to these questions might not meet your taste, especially where you have even already Googled it into artificial intelligence and you have got the answers in front of you. You want to see whether what I will say, some will appear there. That is why I'm talking about the Socratic model. Is that okay? One, the first question, the questioner wanted to know whether it is better for somebody to go into private practice or to be a government worker. That one is purely a choice. It's purely a choice of the individual. And what his vision for life is, for a lot of people, is not only about becoming rich, having material things like houses and cars. No, it's about making difference in the lives of people, which you can do by being a medical doctor or being a lawyer or being a classroom teacher or even by being a pastor. Just touching people, creating an enabling environment for them to do their work. So whether you should go into private practice or public work is an individual decision. And I cannot sit here and prescribe what you should do for you at a time that I do not even understand your roots, your aspirations, and what you want to become in life. Madam Ayo, I have tried a little. Two, Nkrumah's vision. I will take that one together with the last question, because they are all about Nkrumah's vision. Said Akosomo Dam, etc. And then whether Ghanaians over the years have elected good leaders. Well, this issue of being good or being bad may also be relative. For example, a government comes into power and he builds roads only in the areas that they voted for him. And the people who didn't vote for him didn't get anything. When we talk about whether that government is good or bad, the answer will not be the same. Those who benefited will say it's a good government. Those who didn't get anything would say it's a bad government. But on the whole, government is supposed to provide enabling environment for people to achieve their objectives in life. Schools, good roads, health, all those things. Is government living up to those expectations? In most cases, we will say no. And why is government not able to do that? It's a question of demand and supply. People are many, their needs are many, and the money for providing those things are not available, especially the kind of agreements that we enter with the World Bank, IMF, and the Paris Club, where you borrow $10 million. After 10 years, you are still owing $10 million. The debt trap. Secondly, apart from the resource constraints, our governments over the years have been saddled with mismanagement of resources and corruption. I just want to leave it there. I don't want to go beyond that. That has affected how we deliver on our mandate as a government. Then you was talking about the vision of Nkrumah and the CPP. They are no longer hearing of the CPP. Well, the CPP is there. The reason maybe you are not hearing of them because I think they no longer even have one person in parliament. It used to be Nkrumah's son who was in parliament on behalf of the CPP, Samia Nkrumah, but she lost her seat to some other political party. But as a party, they are still there. Maybe if the spirit of Nkrumah comes upon one of them one day to lead, then they might come back to power. But the little acrimonies and divisions, now Parkwesi left and he has formed his own party. It has made the party weaker. If they will come back one day, well, those of you who will live long, you will hear and come and tell us, those of us who will become. Now, there is a gentleman who has asked a question that relates to what I said before I started. I said the purpose of my lecture is not to make you experts in strategic management. When I did postgraduate studies in strategic management some 21 years ago at Jimba, those same issues that you are raising now were issues that we also raised. He wanted to know the difference between a mission and then a goal, and then the difference between a goal and objectives. I will say that again. As for the vision, you didn't mention it because you have understood it. Is that okay? That is the ultimate that you want to become. And I use the mango seed to illustrate it. Mission is the purpose for which an organization exists. Is that okay? If Harriet Abude has a restaurant and we ask her, what is your mission? Maybe she will tell us that to make money. No, you may make money in the process, but in actual fact, you don't craft a strategic plan like that. Your mission is to provide customers with a variety of tasty meals at affordable prices. That's your purpose. Is that okay? So the purpose, the mission is about purpose. Now, I said goal and objectives are similar. I said a goal is the direction you want to go as an organization. I said it is both a direction and what? A destination. But an objective is the smaller things that you will do to get to your destination. And I gave an example by saying that train 10 people in youth management activities by the end of the year. 10. That is specific. That is measurable. That is achievable. That is realistic. And it is time bound because you want to do it in a year. But if you want to put it as a goal, that same idea, you can say provision of leadership training for SS students. Is that okay? That's why governments these days, when they are doing their strategic plans, no, their manifestos, they use goals, visions, missions. The objectives, they don't, because you will be held accountable. If you say you are going to build 111 hospitals within 8 years, and at the end of the 8 years, journalists will go around and count. Hey, Mr. President, you said you will build 101. Now you have built only 11. Can you explain? So what he should have done was to say, to build hospitals in the regions and the districts to promote this thing. That's stating it as a goal. They stated it as an objective. Objective, people can ask, have you gotten the number that you promised? Is that okay? So that's the difference between the goal and objective. I think I've given some leaflets. When you read that, it might broaden your understanding of it. Now, the last question is, how can the youth, young people, young entrepreneurs fund their projects and their businesses? I don't think I have the answer, but I know of what is happening now. At a small scale and sole entrepreneurship, we have MD, SSI, Business Development Unit, and then Maslock, where you can get small loans. You apply through your district, then to the region, then to the national. But can Maslock alone give money to all the young businessmen? If you want to go to the bank to collect money, they will talk about collateral, landed property like land or house or something. If you don't have as a young person, they are not going to give you. Then if it's a bigger one, we have Exim Bank, but that is mainly for exports, import and export business. But the last time I was talking to the regional manager, he said the bank is distressed because loans have been given to people and they are not able to pay back. And in some cases, the addresses that they gave before they gave them the loan, you are tracking it, you are not getting anybody. It may take some time before these opportunities might become a reality in our economy. Thank you.
What an insightful answering of the questions on our mind. I know some people still have some follow-up questions that they want to ask, but this is how far the Lord has brought us, and this is how far we would like to call it a day. This is how far we would like to draw the curtains on today's session and today's Business Management Strategic Management Summit 2025, the first ever physical seminar under the Youth Impact Movement. Do it better, do it better, do it better. Just like it was said, when it starts like this, people laugh at you, and we believe strongly that these seminars will produce billionaires among us. It will be said of this seminar that I attended this particular one, and this is where it has catapulted me to. If you are the one, let me hear, yeah. And it will also be said that I got an insight from here, and that has helped my business to this level. And when all is said and done, we shall return over a bottle of champagne and say, this is how far the Lord has brought us. Thank you so much for coming. And we would like to call on one young lady at the back there to give us the... Okay, so vote of thanks. Kindly come forward to give us the vote of thanks. The Honorable Deputy Speaker of Parliament, please, let's give it up for him to give us the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. I'm really grateful to be given this opportunity to give the vote of thanks. Distinguished guests, esteemed speakers, fellow participants, on behalf of the Youth Impact Parliament, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who contributed to the success of this strategic management business summit. To our esteemed speakers, thank you for sharing your invaluable insights and experience. Your contribution have undoubtedly enriched our understanding of strategic management. To our participants, thank you for your active engagement and thought-provoking questions. To our sponsors and partners, we appreciate your support in making this event possible. And to the organizing committee, thank you for all your tireless efforts behind the scene. As we conclude this summit, we look forward to implementing the knowledge and strategies gained to drive business growth and excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to our esteemed speakers for sharing valuable insights, participants for active engagement, sponsors and partners for their support, organizing committee for their hard work. Thank you for making strategic management business summit a success. We look forward to applying the knowledge gained to drive business excellence. Thank you very much.
Please do it up once again for the Deputy Speaker of Parliament. And thank you so much. At this point, I just want to remind you that there is a local bar at the back. You have taken the first one. You can go as many as you can. If you like the bottles that you drank the water in, they can fill it for you to take home. Whilst you are sipping them, you can be refreshing your mind on whatever has been said here, so that you can equally have some implementation and action plan towards your business and your career goals. On that note, I thank you. Let's welcome the President of the Senate to give us the announcement so that we can take the last prayer and we are out of here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. I must say, for me, I know that it is not the numbers that sounds the success of a program, but the impact being made. And luckily for you, Youth Impact Parliament is very obsessed with keeping records. So apart from you, a lot more would watch the recording and then be impacted. May I, on this note, say a very big thank you to my father, my dad, who, yes, who just for the love of this group has left all his schedules just to come and teach us about business. And I'm really touched by that. And I want to say thank you again to you for this honor you have done Youth Impact Movement. Thank you very much, Dad. And to my geography teacher, cool down. And to my geography teacher who left all the way from Keta just to speak to us. It's another evidence of love and dedication to this cause. These are people, it's not like they don't have anything doing. He could have been doing business right now, but he left from Keta just to speak to you. So if you don't take a clue, I have no words for you. Sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And to our sponsors, Joshua Amegashie-Viglo, CEO of Groove Hub and Lux, Lux and B Reality. He sponsored the local Baobab Day. After the program, go and drink as much as you can drink. You can empty a bottle and go and fill it over there and fill your stomach. Yes, we don't want you to leave hungry and come and say that you came for this program and left with an empty stomach. No, it has to be filled. So please, we have given you all the permission. Go and fill your stomach over there. Yes, it's very important. And then to my entire team, Miss Harriet, the chief officer of our foundation, our most vibrant youth MP, who has not missed any sitting so far, Samson Doche, youth MP for Kwawa Farm Place North, my own majority whip of the Senate, Cyril Kekeli Amevo, first deputy speaker of Parliament, Enoch Sodoji, majority leader of the Parliament, Hubert Agbaxode, minority leader, Wanda Jamesi, and then youth MP for Izile Jokuku, Ablekumanov, Jandu, majority leader of the Senate, Elisha, deputy majority leader, Vixen, and then deputy minority leader of the Senate over there, yes, Afeti, yes, and also the ladies. I can see second deputy minority whip of the Parliament, Bless, is it Makafuyati? Yes. And my own assistant clerks, Gloria, and then Mina. And then all the non-members, thank you for coming. Youth Impact Parliament nomination forms are open. Go and fill it and join this house. In August, we will inaugurate our new house and dissolve the current one. I just want to say thank you to all of you, and also to acknowledge my own big brother, Mr. Amegashie-Viglo. He's a businessman, and he left his schedules to come and listen to his father as well and pick a clue. I'm also grateful to him for coming. This is the first program of my group that he has ever attended, our group. And I say thank you to him. Honorable, you have to join. Oh. What are you waiting for? There are two people here. Please come and join, okay? Very important. And also, the dress is 100 cedis per. 100 cedis per. It's just 100 cedis per. It's not free. Come and pay and take it. Okay? So, once again, thank you all. I wish I could say a lot, but we have already spent more time. So, the video will be uploaded. Share it to your colleagues and let them learn. May I remind you all of just one rule that my MC forgot to say. My MC, come. Who is the minority leader of our Senate? There is one rule that all of you must know from today. It is the first rule of the 48 laws of power. It is hot. Do you know? Never outshine your master. It's a rule that I take and I'm obsessed with. Over here, my father is my master. And I do not on any occasion want to outshine him because if not for him, I wouldn't be here. That I want to assure you that I've kept that rule. And that rule, I'll never break it. And to my teacher as well, you have seen their communication skills. My own no reach any place. That is evidence that I have not broken that rule. You too, keep it holy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Never outshine your master. Never outshine your master. On this note, let's welcome the Assistant Clerk to the Parliament, Madam Wilhelmina, to give us the closing prayer. Please give it up for her.
Honorable members, please let's pray. Heavenly Father, as we conclude this summit, we give thanks for the knowledge shared, the connections and the inspirations we save. Father, bless the work we do, guide our decisions and help us make our talents positive. Father, bless this week. May we live here with renewed purpose and a commitment to excellence. Father, as we are going, we pray that you continue to be with us, that everything we have heard here would be manifested in our lives. This and many more we ask you, your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen and amen and amen and amen. So on this note, once again, thank you all for coming, and we see you at the other side. It is a close, and my name is Edward Amenu. You can follow me and follow the Youth Impact Movement on all social media. Thank you. God bless our homeland, Ghana, and God bless you.